If you want to go ahead and make your way to a seated position, we're going to start today's breathwork training session from that seated position. The first three exercises or so are actually going to be from a seat. So if you want to make your way there, we are going to get up and move around a bit. So if you need to adjust where you're actually doing this training, please go ahead and do that. That's going to be about halfway through our training session. We're going to get around and move. We're going to be doing some very light split squats, or if you've got access to a set of stairs, you can make your way there when we get to that point. I'll guide you through that when we get there. Just a couple of notes on today's breathwork training session here. Number one, this is going to be a bit of a hybrid breathwork training session where I'm focused on giving you as many tools as I can give you here with the number of exercises we're going to go through together. So it might feel a little bit, I don't want to say rushed, but yeah, maybe rushed a little bit. But I want you to feel and get exposure to as many breathwork training exercises that we can do in a number of 25 minutes, right? That's my goal, is to get us in and out in about 25 minutes. So while this may not be the exact number of sets and reps that I would normally want you to do in a proper training session, this training session is going to give you exposure to quite a few different exercises that will hopefully empower you to do them on your own in the near future. um, a little overview. As I said, we're going to start from a seated position. About halfway through, we're going to jump up and either do some walking short split squats, or you're going to work your way to a set of stairs. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to finish lying down on the ground. Okay? If you need any adjustments or anything as we get going, I'm going to call out maybe some tools that you may use on your own when you're doing this on your own. For example, we've got balloon breathing. Obviously, I didn't necessarily call out early on before doing this that you needed a balloon. We're just going to make a modification using the fist, things like that. I'm going to call out some adjustments so that you can do them even better on your own. Lastly, just a little bit of a call out here. If you've got any underlying heart conditions that you need to be concerned about, this breathwork training session may not be for you, especially when we get into some breath holds and movement. Number two, if you're epileptic, long breath hold training is not for you. And lastly, if you're pregnant, I would also not do any breath hold training. Some of the other physical stuff that we're going to do, you can do, but anytime we're either hyperventilating or holding our breath, that is not appropriate for you. Okay, with all of that stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and dive in. So from that seated position, we're going to start with a little warm-up exercise, okay? I want you to shake out your shoulders. I want you to put your hands up above your head. Maybe lean to one side and then the other side. Maybe feel those rib cage. The muscles in between each rib bone and your rib cage are called your intercostal muscles. Maybe we're just opening those up this morning or whatever time that you're watching this recording. Shake things out. We're going to do a little nose unblocking exercise, right? So let's take a normal breath in through your nose, and then a normal breath out. And at the bottom of that exhale, I want you to pinch your nose and hold your breath. And here we're going to rock back and forth, back and forth. Maybe even shake things out a bit. And continue to hold until you reach a medium level of air hunger. And when you reach that point, release your nose, but breathe in through your nose immediately after you release your nose. We're bringing in this beautiful gas called nitric oxide. We're going to bring that into the lungs. That's going to help with gas diffusion into the bloodstream, oxygen going into the bloodstream, as well as it's going to help dilate our blood vessels. That's what nitric oxide can do for you. We're going to do that just one more time here, a little warm up. Again, it's called nose unblocking exercise. So let's take a normal inhale one last time. Normal exhale. Pinch the nose, hold the breath. You're rocking and rolling here. Back and forth, side to side, shake it out. Move your head gently and carefully. When you reach medium level of air hunger, release your nose, but breathe in through your nose immediately after. You might notice there's more moisture in your nose. We're clearing that out. We're preparing ourselves for a lot of nasal breathing. This is a great warm-up exercise for any exercise that you're about to do if you're going to be focused on nasal breathing during it. Good job. Now we're going to move on to a little assessment, breath assessment called a carbon dioxide tolerance test. So again, from that seated position, what we're going to do is just take a normal breath in, a normal breath out. Then we're going to take a really deep breath. We're going to fill up our lungs as much as possible. And then we're going to start as slow as you can make it and exhale. You're going to extend that exhale through your nose as long as you possibly can go. Okay, get to the point that you're squeezing all the air out of your lungs. So you're just barely letting air out through your nose, extending that exhale as long as you can, squeezing the air out. I'm going to start a timer, and you're going to try to extend that exhale as long as you can. And when you're done, you're going to take a note of the time on that timer. Okay, so let's begin. A very normal inhale in through your nose. Now a normal exhale. And now begin a deep inhale. Filling up, filling up, filling up, filling up. And now begin that slow exhale through your nose. Maybe close your eyes and relax as you barely are letting air just drip out of your nose. You're trying to extend this exhale as long as you can go. Work with that panicky feeling of breathlessness as you reach the end of your exhale. We're gauging three things, not only lung capacity here, CO2 tolerance, as well as your ability to handle that stress mentally of breathlessness. And when you squeeze all the air out of your lungs, that's when you take a note of the time on the screen. If you're still going, great job. I'm going to let the timer run for another 10 seconds or so. Right. Good work, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and drop the timer. If you're still going, you are amazing. So that is a CO2 TT, also known as a carbon dioxide tolerance test. All right, what we're going to work on now is a little inspiratory muscle training exercise. There's two sides of respiratory muscle training, inspiratory and expiratory, right? We're going to begin with an inspiratory muscle exercise. It's called rock and roll breathing. I'm going to adjust my video here. Oh, you saw my green screen. Yes, this is not actually where I'm at. This is a green screen, but it is a beautiful view at a gym, right? All right. From that seated position, what you're going to do is an exercise called rock and roll breathing. The way that it works is we're going to take a normal passive exhale as you rock forward, and then we're going to pick up the head, block one nostril, and you're going to inhale as you roll back up to a normal seated position. Okay? And we're going to do that a series of 10 times together. All right. So go ahead and straight back. Take a normal exhale as you rock forward. Block the nose. Pick up your head as you begin to inhale and inhale forcefully. And that inhale brings you back up to a seated normal position. Exhale. Inhale, pick up the head first and roll back up. Nice. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. That exhale's passive. Inhale, pick up the head first. Inhale, pull the air in. Good. Exhale. Inhale. Good. We've got 5 more. Exhale. Inhale. Nice work. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Exhale. And now inhale. Really engage your diaphragm. Pull yourself up with your breath. Good work. That is rock and roll breathing with focus on our inspiratory muscles. That's your diaphragm and your outer intercostal muscles. Those are the muscles we use when we inhale. Now we're going to work on a little EMT, also known as exhalation muscle training. What we're going to do here is called balloon breathing. Obviously, if you have a balloon that happens to be sitting next to you at your desk or wherever you're training right now, sweet, good for you. Don't know why you have a balloon there, but you can go ahead and grab that balloon. If not, go ahead and just make a fist, normal fist, just like this, right? Like you're going to warm up your hands. You're blowing into that fist, right? The amount of space that you use in your hand is going to control the level of resistance that you have to this exhale, right? We're going to do one set of 1 minute here, okay? You're going to take full exhalations as many times as you can in that 1 minute. All right? Take a nice deep breath in to begin. And now exhale. The inhales should be quick because we're trying to maximize the number of exhales we get in here. Really engage those abdominal muscles with each and every exhale. Maybe you even rock forward a little bit. Squeeze the diaphragm, squeeze the abdomen muscles when you exhale. Remember, you're in control of the level of resistance that you have. A tighter fist is going to bring more resistance to the exhale. You've got 15 more seconds. This should be a nice ab workout here. I expect 6 packs when we're done. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Finish off that last exhale. And now we're going to do 1 minute of normal, relaxed breathing. Take an inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. And an exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Through your nose. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue at that pace. We're just rebalancing the pH of our blood. When we exhale and inhale strongly, that's called hyperventilation. What happens when you hyperventilate is you're throwing off carbon dioxide. What this is going to do is it's going to change the biochemistry of our blood. In other words, we're changing the pH of our blood. When we hyperventilate, we're actually becoming more basic, which means the pH is rising. Here, by taking slow breaths at about 5 seconds inhale, 5 seconds exhale, we're rebalancing the pH of our blood. All right, good work. That is our EMT exhalation muscle training exercise called balloon breathing. Now, for the fun stuff, we're going to go into high altitude simulation breathwork training. So go ahead and stand up. And if you do have access to a set of stairs, or even if you're outside and you've got access to a hill, that's great. You can go ahead and do that. Be there for this particular set of exercises. First, what we're going to do is just a little warm-up exercise called warm up for high altitude simulation. Imagine that. That's a pretty simple, straightforward exercise. We're going to take a normal name for an exercise. We're going to take a normal breath in and then a normal breath out. We're going to pinch the nose and hold our breath, just like we did for that nose unblocking exercise. But here, we're going to actually walk. So you're going to walk around. You're going to count your steps. I want you to walk for about 15 to 20 paces whenever you reach maybe like a medium level of air hunger. And then you're going to release your nose. And once again, we breathe in. After we block our nose, we breathe in through that nose immediately after. I don't want to see any inhales through the mouth here. I want to breathe in right after that breath hold, right? This is just a little warm up. We're going to do this just 2 times. If you're on your own, I would advise you to do a warm up for high altitude simulation exercise like this about 5 times before you get going. All right. So let's go ahead and take a normal breath in through your nose, normal breath out. Pinch the nose, hold the breath, and begin walking. You're walking, you're walking, counting your steps. Want to walk about 20 paces here. And when you're done with those 15 to 20, release and breathe in. Breathe normally. We're going to recover in a matter of 5 or 6 breaths here. Doing a little breathwork training can also be a little meditative, right? We're focused on our breathing as we move. That's really the core of, say, something like yoga. How do we move and how do we breathe with that movement? All right, last time, take a normal inhale and a normal exhale. Pinch the nose, hold the breath, begin walking. I'm going to walk in a silly looking circle here just so that I remain on screen. You're holding your breath about 15 to 20 paces. When you get done with those paces, release your nose, breathe in through your nose. We want to bring in that nitric oxide. We're also giving ourselves an uptick in carbon dioxide, which drops the pH of our blood. That's also going to dilate those blood vessels. Combination of nitric oxide and CO2 both is a delicious little cocktail of gases that we can use to help ourselves warm up, dilate the blood vessels, and help with that oxygen getting released into not only the blood, but off of our hemoglobin in the red blood cells and onto the muscles that are screaming for oxygen when we're exercising. All right. Now, for the fun part, we are going to do some high altitude simulation exercises. This is also known as intermittent hypoxic hypercapnic training. Hypoxic means low oxygen, hypercapnic, hyper meaning high, capnic meaning CO2, high carbon dioxide, right? The way that I want you to do this is we're going to take a normal breath in and a normal breath out. You're going to hold your breath. You can either pinch the nose or just hold your breath. I'll trust that you're holding your breath here. And if you have a set of stairs, I want you to then begin to walk up and down those stairs, both up and down. We want to work on the muscles that we engage on the way up and while we're descending, right? If you don't have a set of stairs, you're just going to walk in maybe a circle or back and forth, just with a little split squats. We're not like doing full jump split squats or anything like that. We're just walking back and forth and just doing normal little split squats, almost like a walking lunge, but you can maybe kind of split squat because we're not lunging all the way down, right? Hold the breath while you're doing that movement. When it becomes too challenging and you cannot go any further, that's when you go ahead and stop. But this is the critical part of this exercise. What I want you to do is stay in control of both your mind and your body here. Block one nostril and recover while blocking one nostril, right? We want to engage the diaphragm and recover with one nostril blocked. Okay? Who's ready for some fun here? Let's do it. All right, we're going to take just a few normal breaths together. So go ahead and take a normal inhale and a normal exhale. Once again, normal inhale, normal exhale. Normal inhale, normal exhale. And as you reach the end of that exhale, not pressed out, but just passive exhale, pinch the nose, hold your breath, and begin that walking now, right? You're walking and you're doing these little split squats, slight lunges. When you can't go any further, that's when you go ahead and block one nostril and recover with one nostril blocked. During these recovery breaths, again, I know this is challenging stuff, but during these recovery breaths, I want you to focus on engaging your diaphragm with each breath. Feel that belly rise and fall with every breath. You did great. We're going to do that together a few more times here. Continue to recover with one nostril blocked. You've got about 20 more seconds of recovery. Awesome job, everybody. All right, coming into our last recovery breath. You can release your nose here. We're going to take a normal breath in and a normal breath out. Pinch the nose, hold the breath. Off you go. These little lunges, walking back and forth, or if you're going up and down those steps, go up, go down, go up, go down. Continue. Push yourself. Get out of your head, into your body. Trust that you have more than enough oxygen in your system right now. This is just the rise in carbon dioxide that's making you feel breathless. When you get done, block one nostril and take those recovery breaths. Really good work, everybody. I know this is tough stuff. Making adaptations in your body to prepare yourself for high altitude is a challenging and tall, no pun intended, given altitude task, right? This is what we're doing with this particular exercise. We're simulating a hypoxic environment for your body while also pairing that with a hypercapnic one, high carbon dioxide. That means we're moving the body a lot, right? And in order to move the body, what's happening inside the body is something called cellular respiration. What that's effectively doing is taking oxygen and some energy source, glucose, let's just say, and it's producing the ATP, adenosine triphosphate, that's needed to move the body, right? But a byproduct of that is carbon dioxide. So we have carbon dioxide building in the blood, and it builds a lot faster when we hold our breath, right? We're not actually exhaling off that CO2, we're holding it in and we're moving the body. This is simulating that very breathless feeling when you're on the mountain, especially at altitude, right? So this combination of hypoxic, hypercapnic training is simulating that high altitude environment. All right, continue for just one more breath of recovery. You can release your nose here. We're going to take a normal breath in and a normal breath out. Pinch the nose, hold the breath, off you go. This is your last time doing this. So push yourself here. Go as far as you can go on this one breath. You can do it. There's plenty of oxygen in your system. This is just that rise in CO2 that you're feeling. Go as far as you can, and then stop and take that one nostril blocked recovery breaths. Engage your diaphragm with these recovery breaths. Embrace that resistance that's happening with your nose. When we do air resisted breaths, that engages the diaphragm more, right? That's why we also want to breathe through the nose as much as possible, both at rest and while exercising, because breathing through the nose engages the diaphragm more due to that slight resistance that we get. The nose is for breathing, the mouth is for eating. Let's keep it that way, right? Continue to recover here. 30 more seconds. You're doing great. Taking just a few more breaths, trying to calm down the heart rate. We're at that 25-minute mark here. If you want to continue for the next couple minutes, I'm going to end our session with a little recovery exercise. Go ahead and make your way to a lying down position. The way that I want you to configure your feet, your legs, and your hands is in a position called the hook lying position. So that means our feet are flat on the ground and our knees are going to be at a 90-degree angle, right? Feet flat on the ground, knees at a 90-degree angle. What I want you to do with your hands is I want you to interlace your hands behind your lower back so that it occupies that little bit of space that's created between your butt and your upper back, right? You have your hands here interlaced behind your back, feeling as you breathe, feeling the pressure build as you inhale. And as you exhale, the pressure lessens on the top of those fingers, right? This is giving us a little bit of physical, tangible feedback to our breath. Using the lower back, knowing and understanding that each and every breath should move our thoracic cavity 360 degrees around the body. This is not just about front belly breathing. We want to engage the entire 360-degree area around the bottom of our rib cage with each and every breath. So just feel that inhale, feel that exhale. Now we're going to do basically a 5-second inhale and a 5-second exhale. This will also help to downshift the nervous system so that we come into a more calm and relaxed state, which counteracts that very sympathetic state that we just went through in that high stress exercise of high altitude simulation. So go ahead and take an inhale with me for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue at that pace. You're counting 5 on your inhale and 5 on your exhale. Just relax your body. Notice your lower back pressing against your fingers. Knowing that the stress that you just put your body through with the high altitude simulation exercise is now over. Setting yourself up for a nice, calm, relaxed state of mind walking out of this breathwork training session. Go ahead and take one last breath on your own. Good. Now, go ahead and start to slowly and gently make your way back up to a seated position. If your eyes were closed, go ahead and open them. Notice the room around you, the colors around you. Move your body in whatever way feels right as you make your way back to your screen, however it is you're watching me right now. I want to thank you so much for joining today's breathwork training session. Once again, I'm Anthony Lorubbio from here at Recal. We specialize in high altitude breathwork training so that you can build your altitude endurance for your next endeavor in the mountains. If you've got any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at any time at info@recaltravel.com or hit up our website, also called recaltravel.com, or just comment on any of the platform that you're actually watching this video. Thanks so much for joining. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Be training, everybody. Take care.